welcome back to another stream. This is the kind of long overwaited stream that I've been sort of saying I'll do all week, and then I've just kind of not done it. And I've got some reasons for why I haven't done it. Um, the I guess the first reason is I was gonna. I think I said in the last stream I was gonna announce it on Thursday, and then on Thursday I got a inbox from a promoter that actually sent me some artwork for another booking, and he said he was going to announce this event on Friday, and Friday's been and gone. And I don't know if he just got busy, but the event didn't get announced. So essentially, I held back on the stream to wait for this artwork to be released, because I don't like to mention bookings until artwork gets, like finalized and finished. Otherwise, it just kind of, again, it spoils the event early for people who maybe would be interested in going to it. And plus, it just makes it sort of like less exciting as well. So I actually should have had 3 bookings to announce, but I'm still waiting on that artwork to get released. Like, I've seen the artwork, but I'm just waiting for him to say, look, you're good to go, you're good to share it. So I've got 2 gig announcements, and one of them, I think both of them, I might have like told you the date for them, sort of like in previous streams, but one of them has been in the pipeline for a long time. I got this booking a long time ago. I think I even maybe got it sort of like late January, early February, and I've known about this for a while. And obviously, it's the event itself is not till later on in the year, so it was kind of a little bit pointless doing the artwork too early. But now they've sort of released the artwork and are going to give it a good sort of like promo push. So the first gig, we might as well start. We'll sort of go in order, really, and we'll start with the one that's actually next week, because there's one that's next week, and then, like I say, the other one is just not until a bit later on in the year. So next week is a very exciting one. So next week I'm performing at a place called Social in Hull, and it's for an event called GiG Buddies, and it's their relaunch. So if you don't know what GiG Buddies are, GiG Buddies is an organisation that I've been sort of working alongside through my work at Goodwin, and I've been doing some voluntary work, and sort of like going and sort of like supporting these events, and being a part of these events. And at first I was like, my boss at work said, like, go down and check this this GiG Buddies thing out, and go and sort of like get involved in these MenCap meetings and see what it's all about. And then I went to these meetings, and then I got like involved in it. I got like really involved in it. I started enjoying going to them. I made friends with people that were at these meetings. Just give me literally 2 seconds. Yeah, so I started getting like right involved in these meetings, and really enjoying going to them. So they run these monthly meetings. It's the second Tuesday of every month, and there's like a little MenCap meeting, which is a little bit different. It's more like a worky kind of thing. And then after, they run this thing called GiG Buddies, and essentially, people that go to the MenCap meeting can stay if they want to stay. And it's just essentially like a band comes in and plays, or like a musician comes in and plays, and we'll do like some kind of music, and then there's like a little open mic section where people can come and do open mic. And it's just like a really fun place to get together and talk. So GiG Buddies itself, they was an organisation that sadly ran out of funding, and they went into lockdown, and a lot of things couldn't happen with the COVID restrictions. So they've relaunched GiG Buddies, and and they've teamed up with Mencap, and they're putting this like relaunch gig on, which is social on Friday. So myself and the Layman, we're gonna be performing there. We're gonna be doing our positive reggae tracks, which I'm looking forward to, and we're gonna be also doing our knife crime track as well, which is if you don't know what that is something in itself that has done really well and taken us by storm. And we're going to be performing them live on stage down at Social on Friday. It's a free entry event as well, so you can come down and just watch us perform. Just make sure you grab yourselves a free ticket from the link that I'll edit and put in the description if I remember. If not, and you've got me on social media, just like badger me and say like, look, you was going to put it in the description, and then I'll send it to your inbox, and I'll probably put it in the description then, because I'm quite sort of like, you know, I'll say in streams like, I'll add this to the description, I'll do this and I'll do that, and then I'll end up like not doing that, and then days pass and then I've not done it, and then it like completely slips my mind. So that'll be a shed load of fun in itself. There's a sunflower band as well, which I'm also going to be performing in as well. So I'm kind of doing like two performances. But I suppose my like first performance with the sunflower band is, it's not as sort of like I'm not as involved as I am when I do the tracks with the Layman, and I'm kind of more like just doing a little backing beat on a launch pad, which I'm looking forward to doing. And I've been doing that at what I'd say call the rehearsals, which is a session called Sunflower that takes place the last Wednesday of every month at a place called Find, and we've been sort of like practicing, and we've got like 3 songs in mind that we're going to do, so it'll be a shed load of fun. And I've really enjoyed working with them, and again I've been going through work and supported through work. It's all support, you know, which is all good. And yeah, it's been a shed load of fun. So that's the first gig, which I'm looking forward to. Now the second gig is not actually until the 5th of August, and I'm looking forward to this one. And I've been booked with the Core Vibes. I've been booked with the Core Vibes, and yeah, the Core Vibes and myself, we've had a very sort of like up and down relationship, really. Not as in like we've fallen out or anything, but they booked me for a couple of gigs, and sadly I've not been able to attend them for various reasons. And sadly, it's just become one of them things where they booked me, and I know one of them we'd sort of like only just not long sort of come out of lockdown, and it was more like a garden house party, and I said, look, I'll attend it because I've been wanting to come down and meet you for a while, and then sadly it didn't happen. And then they put an event on for Lisa's birthday bash, and I wasn't booked for it, but myself and the Layman, out of the goodness of our hearts, we decided that we'd go down and surprise them, and it was all the way in Norwich, and it was quite a fair drive, to be honest. And I went down there, ended up grabbing the mic and having a bit of fun, and then they booked me for an event last year that was due to take place sometime in April, and then sadly some things just didn't go to plan, and they had to move the event, and they moved the event forward, and the date that they moved it to was a date that I was already booked for something else. So sadly it was just one of them. I had to pull again. So they finally booked me on the 5th of August for Summer Sounds, and it's at Leicester. It's at a place called Cubed, where I used to DJ the DNAs there, Cubed and Boxed. And I'm a little happy about this one because that is a little bit of an easier venue to get to. Whereas, like, if I was going all the way down to Norwich again, that is a trek. I did it for Stomp for Cancer. Luckily, I a couple of friends, we drove down because they was playing as well. But you know, if you was left under your own steam to get the train and go all the way down to Norwich, it's a steep train price. that I would imagine, and it will probably take a while as well because Norwich is kind of like there's no motorway to get to it. You sort of go down sort of like Lincoln, and you sort of pass Skegness, and you go like, you sort of go like through Lincolnshire really, and you take all them little A roads, and obviously train tracks in itself, they don't go directly over the Humber, so you've got to go around on the train by the likes of like Goole and like Gilberdyke and Brough, and there's no like tunnel, or there's no railway bridge that just goes over the Humber. I wish there was, so you could get like a train to Barton and then a train to Scunthorpe, but sadly you can't do that. So you have to go around, and you have to go like to Doncaster, and then you go from Doncaster, and that sort of can take you on to like, Sheffield and other places. But there's no like physical sort of connection going over the river. You've got to go around the river. So I would imagine getting to Norwich would be like a really tough thing to do. So with them being at Leicester, it's a little bit like, yeah, I can get to Leicester a little bit easier. And I know sort of Leicester quite well now because I've been a couple of times myself. And anyway, cutting the story short, they've booked me for the Summer Sounds. They want me to play a bounce set back to back with DJ Kerridge. Now, DJ Kerridge is another friend of mine, and I've only met him the once, but we've been friends online, and he's quite into replicating rave songs on the keyboard, and I'm into the same thing as well. I like doing that. And we both from time to time like share each other like the notes for certain songs, and he'll send me a video like, I've just learned how to play this, and then I'll say, oh, I've just learned how to play that. And he's a good DJ as well. He's a very he's an underrated DJ, and he actually did like a bounce mix not that long ago and put it online. And just me, was bored one night, so I laid in bed and I listened to it. And he had a really good track selection. He had a really good, powerful, energetic bounce set that was different to like any sort of other set that I'd hear. It was like there was none of your sort of like lights go down, none of that in the set, which made it a little bit of a change, because although that there's nothing wrong with that song, it's been overplayed. It's it was a really big bounce tune, and it's in a lot of sets. It's in Whitby's sets. Other people play it. It actually got played last night at Bounce Elements, where I was just raving as well. And it's played all the time. So when I listened to his set, it was a lot different to all your sort of like normal just bounce heaven stuff. And there was a few like older bounce tracks in there that were out sort of before the time of the sort of revamped Bounce Heaven, and there was some like Scouse tunes in there as well from the old like XNRG days, and that was an era that I was very fond of, because when I got into the likes of Clubland, and sort of like before I really got into hardcore, I was into like the Scouse and the Bounce and the Alex K, the Ultimate Energies, and into like Scouse House, and like the B-sides of All Around the World Records was like a big, where you'd get like the KB Project remix and stuff, an EB Project, and that was sort of like the era of bounce that I first got into, before I sort of like got into the hardcore as much. I mean, I always sort of knew of hardcore and liked it, but I sort of got right into it and thought, this is what I want to mix when I sort of got back into the sort of like DJing side of things. And when I was MCing, I always liked to MC over like hardcore and power stomp, so I wanted to come in and mix all them tunes I'd been spitting over, and it was good. It was really good in that sense. So I'm looking forward to our B2B, because like myself, when I'm putting bounce sets together, I don't always just like to go for the typical, like I said, lights go down, because I know a lot of other people play it, and someone else is probably willing to play it at a bounce event. So I always tend to think, right, what can I play that's a little bit different? Or again, I even sometimes play some of my own production, but I am gotta be honest, I'm not as keen on playing my own tracks out, and I think I don't know why. I think because I sit there and I make them, and I hear them like hundreds of times when I'm making them, and I think like I always have that like buzz of like hearing someone else play it, because I kind of think like like other people make tracks for, for us to play them, so play other people's tracks. I don't mind like putting the odd tune of mine in. Like sometimes if I've got a new one, I'll like put it in my set like as a sort of like test the road, test it out, and see what it sounds like in in a club, and see if there's like a reaction to it, if people are liking it. But I don't really tend to, some people will feel like their sets like full of their own tracks, so they are in some sense playing something different. But there's so many tracks out there, and and putting a set together, in my eyes, is not just going into your bounce folder and pulling tracks out. Sometimes it's about sort of like having a search on the web. Sometimes it's about being a little bit sort of experimental as well, and going on the Bounce Heaven store and maybe buying a new track, or going on to another site and buying another track. And I like to keep my set sort of a little bit different. I'll have like a period where I'm playing a specific track in quite a lot of sets because I'm liking the track. A good example at the moment is Axel Gear and Dirk Dog with their remix of Discoland. I love that, and I played it in like two different gig sets, and I've also played it a few times on live streams. I absolutely love it, and that's a newish track. It's a newish release on Excite Digital, and that's what I like doing. That's that is me in a nutshell. I go through a period where I'll be hooked on a specific song and I'll play it, and then I'll sort of like get to a point where I think I've played it a few times, enough times now. I'll have a break from it. It's still a good tune, and then I'll pick for something different. So I think in terms of our B2B, we're going to do a good set. We're going to do an absolutely belting set. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm not sure, obviously, what the set time is yet. It's like a very early sort of like stage at the moment to announce any form of set times. But it's not till August, so like what do you expect in that sort of sense? We've got a long while to wait. And I suppose set times, isn't really on people's minds at the moment. As it's that far off. I mean, does anybody even know what they're doing on that date? I mean, I know the layman's booked for a completely different event, but other than that, who else, doesn't really do much? Like ravers and stuff, unless they've got like a really important like family holiday or something, or it's like someone's birthday and they are planning something this year for it. Other than that, it's going to be like I could be doing out on that day. Do you know what I mean? So I guess set times will come at like a later point. In that sense, but it'll be good. It'll be really enjoyable. It'll be really fantastic, and I'm looking forward to it. What can I say? And it'll be good to finally like properly officially gig for the core vibes as well, because like I say, a couple of times they booked me down for things for various reasons I've sadly had to unfortunately pull out and say I can't make it. And like I say, one of them we'd just come out of lockdown, and it was like getting all the way to their house, and it was Norwich, and then the other time, like I said, they moved the date forward, and it was on a day that I was actually booked for something, which was a little bit of a bummer, and it was just sadly the way it went. In that sense, I can't remember what I was booked for, but there was something that I was booked for, and I think they'd moved it. I can't remember where. I don't know if they'd moved it forward or they'd moved it back a week. I can't remember, but all I do remember is that I was booked somewhere else, and I think it was maybe the Clubland Vibes in Hull. I think they'd maybe moved it back to the 15th of April from like the 2nd of April or something. which that just sadly didn't work for me at the time. So it'll be good to finally go down. It would be good to gig with them because, like I say, I'm a very like one thing I hate is like, and I'm sure a lot of people hate it as well. But I hate being that person who has to say like, look, sorry, I sadly can't make this event. And a good example was the Sopranos in Amsterdam. Although from what I heard and what I saw, a lot of things didn't go to plan for people. It was still a little bit of a letdown for me because I'd obviously like promoted it for months, and it was still like an exciting feeling, thinking I'm going to go overseas and I'm going to play abroad and that sort of thing. And even though now I'm sort of glad in a way I didn't go because of things that went wrong and the price of things over there and stuff. That was obviously a relief in that sense. But just the fact was more disappointing that it turned out to be like that. That I had been looking. When you are excited for something, and then it doesn't turn out to be what you thought it was going to be. It can be disappointing. That can be as disappointing as pulling out when you find out it's not what you thought it was going to be. And it was just one of them things. But I just hate being that guy who tells that promoter like I can't make this booking especially when they've like paid to have artwork printed and they've promoted you online and you've told all your followers that you're going to be there, and they've told like all the people that are planning to go to the event that I'm going to be there playing a set, and then it's like, oh well, actually now he's not. It can be a pain for people, and even with Amsterdam, people had actually gone over there and they thought they was going to see me play, and I even had a couple of people text me. There was one guy who was like, because we was camping, and there was like, you can come in my hotel and use your shower and stuff if you want, use the shower and stuff like that. You don't have to, with you being on the campsite and stuff. And then there was another person who was like, where are you? Like, I've come down and I'm in the club, and what time are you playing? And I'm replying back like I'm sat at home in my armchair, and I'm not even over there. And it'll be gutting when people have thought like, because people thought it was a big thing as well, and they thought, oh look at Noble getting this opportunity, let's go and see him smashing it, and it's my birthday week, so let's go and enjoy the birthday vibes there. And that is obviously a shame for people. So I do hate whatever the booking, really, I do hate having to turn bookings down. Like, I have to like tell them, sorry, I can't make it. But sometimes it can't be helped. Sometimes, and I suppose health issues, you can't always be certain that you aren't going to be unwell. You can sort of be all right one week, and then the next week, you come down with a cold, or you come down with a flu. I mean, that happened quite. That's happened to me recently. Luckily, I've not had to pull from any gigs, but it goes to show that that these things can happen, and that you can obviously end up. Sort of like doing these kind of things, where you sadly do get unwell, and again, family things as well. Not necessarily you that becomes unwell, family members can, obviously, but just in general, like I feel like once I'm on a flyer and I share a flyer, I feel like I am fully committed to doing that booking. I feel like when they put my name on that flyer, that's like as good as me signing a contract. And I like to stick to what I say I'm going to do, and I enjoy obviously DJing and gigging, and I wouldn't take bookings if I didn't. But there we go. So anyway, so two good bookings, two really good bookings. Another booking that will be coming like any day now. I could stream it tomorrow. I could stream it Monday. I'm not entirely sure. I know that they're going to announce. They've got the artwork and they're going to announce it anytime now. Well, probably not like anytime now because it's like 1 in the morning. But but yeah, you know, they could announce it tomorrow. They could announce it Monday. That kind of thing. And then on Friday. For definite on Friday, there's going to be another booking. Now, like I say, I've got my gig buddies on Friday and stuff, so I don't know if I'll get time to stream it. And I know on Saturday, I'm away at a rave on the Saturday evening, so I might maybe get to stream it Saturday daytime. But there'll be definitely another booking announcement. The event has been announced, but the lineup's not been announced. So I'm looking forward to it. And I actually lost a booking through this booking, believe it or not. Which I know is kind of like a crazy thing, to say, but yeah, I lost a booking through taking this booking. And I know you're probably thinking like, well, you know, why did you take it if you're gonna lose, if you're gonna lose one? And it was a little bit of a no-brainer for me. You know, I felt a little bit sort of like gutted that it came to the situation that it came to, but it came to what it came to. Sadly, wasn't my fault, and I wasn't going to be dragged into the middle of a debate over it. And you know, no, you know, and I did what I thought was right, and I did what I thought was going to benefit me. So, cutting the story short. I got a booking ages ago, like a long time ago now. Probably about a month and a half ago now, and it was quite a exciting booking. It was quite a big booking, and they've announced a couple of headliners for it, and it was all plain sailing, going absolutely fine and dandy. And I was looking forward to it. I had a sort of like decent little set in mind for it. Of what they'd asked, you know, said like, you know, would you be able to play this kind of styled set? And I was like, yeah, I can do that. I was looking forward to it. And then about a week ago, nearly 2 weeks ago now, I got essentially I got a booking come into my inbox, and someone basically wanted to book me for another event which was taking place 2 weeks before. And I got approached about this booking, and I was like, yeah, of course, I'll take it. You know, and they offered, you know, obviously, you know, said, you know, about paying me and the fee and stuff. Like, yeah, of course, I'll do it. You know, and it was sounded like quite an exciting booking. It was with a brand, and I've been to their events before, so I was kind of excited with what was to come. And then the next day, I got a call from a promoter from the previous event, and he was kind of like telling me like, you know, if you don't take this booking, if you know, if you get asked about this booking, don't take it. At this point, I'd already accepted it. It was already like finalized, and I was in a group chat for it. But you know, and there was kind of like almost trying to tell me like, you know, who I can and can't gig for, and it essentially came down in the end that, you know, if I take that booking, I can't do their booking. And I just thought in the end, I'm not going to be told like where I can and can't gig. Like, you know, I'm my own person. You know, I'm not a resident for any brand. I don't go around saying I'm this brand and I'm that brand. I'll play for whoever books me. And because this event was 2 weeks before, it's in the same town, and apparently they was trying to copy the same lineup as the one I'd previously been booked for, which again, that's got nothing to do with me. It doesn't concern me. It's not an issue for me because I'm not in the promoting world. And at the end of the day, I got asked to do a booking. I got offered a fee. I accepted the booking. I accepted the fee. The same as I accepted the original booking. You know, I got asked about it. I said, yeah, I'd be up for doing it, and I accepted it. You know, none of the, you know, promoters, you know, none of them have done anything wrong to me to make me sort of think, oh, I want to side with you instead. I suppose the only thing I didn't like was being sort of like told, like, you know, if you play there, you can't play here, kind of thing. And I thought, like, you know, So obviously the lineups I think are very separate now. They're very different, and I know a couple of other DJs have been approached and don't do this event that's 2 weeks before ours. And some people have obviously, listened. And, in my opinion, they've been stupid enough and they've listened because, it makes them sort of like tied down to that brand, and it makes them think like, like people think, oh, that person's part of that brand. So, they don't like a playing sort of here, there, and everywhere instead, which, I kind of think has kind of ruined it, you know, in that sense. So yeah, so sadly it came to the point of if you play for them, you can't play for us. And like I say, I just thought, well, listen, look, I'm not going to be told where I can and can't play. The other promoter that had booked me second didn't go around and say, look, don't play for that other brand. He's not said anything of the such. And and the fact that 2 weeks is kind of like, all right, it's 2 weeks. Do you know what I mean? If it was like the day before, and because there was like, I don't, we don't want to replicate the same lineup, and I'm thinking if it's a day before, or if it's even a week before, yeah, I can understand sort. But 2 weeks is a little bit, what people do sort of like, 1 week, and then what they do 2 weeks after. I don't really think is going to have too much effect, and especially when the original event had already been announced a good while, and tickets were already selling, really well. There was a good chunk of tickets that, had been sold, and there was only like one headliner announced. And so I was kind of thinking like 2 weeks is a little bit sort of like, I think, come on, it's 2 weeks, and that I was aware of. I was the only person on that lineup that was, that was on both lineups, because like other people had like turned it down. So I was kind of thinking like, for the sake of one DJ, like, was there really any need to drop me? Was there really any need to say, to not have me, for me not to be on both lineups? But at the end of the day, like I say, I wasn't going to be told where I could and where I couldn't gig. And my own self, I'll gig for anybody that's going to book me and that's going to pay me essentially. Or that I feel I'm going to get something out of it. Do you know what I mean? I mean, of course, like if I'd taken a booking and I don't know, the guy turned out to, he's going to court because he's murdered someone, or he's turned out to be a paedophile or something, then yeah, obviously I'm going to think, yeah, I don't want to associate with you, I don't want to play with you. But just on the off chance that a promoter doesn't get on with another promoter, that's not, that's not my issue, because two different promoters don't like each other. That's not my issue. That's got naff all to do with me. I'm not even a part of the argument. And and the fact that they want to book me, and I'm an up and coming DJ. I'm rising up. I'm trying to gig here and I'm trying to gig there. So, of course I'm not gonna, and I suppose just sort of like saying, oh no, I can't do your gig because they've told me that I'm not allowed to do it, and I'll lose this booking. They'll just, and then he'll think, that guy will think, right, I'm not going to ask this Noble again, because, he pick and chooses who he plays for. And that is not who I am. I'll play for anybody. But the physical fact is that that original booking I'd got, they wanted to drop me. I didn't want to leave them. I didn't want to turn their booking down, but they wanted to get rid of me. And I've got, and I've got value as well. And like I say, I'm not gonna turn a booking down from someone that's not done me any wrong, someone that's never harmed me, or never done anything to upset me. As a matter of fact, they've always been sound to me. They've always supported me. They've let me into their other events for free when I've not when I've not been actually performing on their event. Like this one I've just been booked for, that you'll hear about next week. Their last event I got in on the Layman's Plus one. I got well treated. I got nice respect, and So why would I just say, look, I'm not going to do your booking because this other brand don't want me to? It just makes me look stupid. Like I'm going to side with a brand. And it's not just about who's got the bigger lineup and who's put the more money into it. It's a gig for me at the end of the day, a chance to go out and do what I love. Whether Darren Styles is headlining it, or whether Kayleen Scar's headlining it. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. The size and the decency of the lineup is not the issue for me, because it's not as such about like how big I can get, and who I can be on the same lineup as. Like it is a buzz, obviously, like getting booked on the same lineup as big names, but a booking is a booking, and I love being behind the decks myself. I love playing a set myself, and that's what it's all about for me. It's just going there and doing my job, making myself look noticed, and having a good time. Just having a good time, essentially. But yeah, so there we go. So like I say, 2 bookings, Gig Buddies and Core Vibes Summer Sounds. So Gig Buddies the 21st of April at Social. That's down Humber Street in Hull. And Core Vibes Summer Sounds is at the Boxed and Cubed nightclub in Leicester. So it's actually in Cubed itself, which is, it's kind of like room 2 to Boxed. They use it as like a room 2, but they do also use it as a separate club as well. It's got its own entrance from outside, as well as an entrance from inside Boxed, and it's got its own bar in there and everything. It is like a separate club, but they do use it as a room 2 as well. It's a smaller club, but we're in there. It's going to be a shed load of fun. So I'm looking forward to it. So make sure to like, make sure to comment, make sure to share. Also tomorrow I will probably come live and we'll do the next part of the FLP project that we've been revamping. So we took a hardcore track and we slowed it down and we turned it into a bounce tune, and we've kind of like really turned it into something, and it's sounding quite good at the moment. So we'll be getting cracking back on with that, and that'll be exciting. So I'll probably do that at some point tomorrow. If not, I'll definitely do it in the week, all being well. But yeah, we'll be getting back on with that, and I think that there won't be that much left to do on it. So I think there'll be maybe like another part, or maybe another 2 parts at the most. But we've done quite a good chunk of the tune already. So a lot of it now, there will be a lot of like copying and pasting to make the tune, just to sort of like widen the length of the tune, and just it's deciding if we want to essentially like add anything else. But I'm quite liking it at the moment. So it'll be good. I'm looking forward to it. And I think I was originally going to call it. Happy Don't Court. That's what, because it was like it was kind of like a happy hardcore tune, and then we sort of like proper changed it, and then we actually added a vocal and turned it into actually more like a remix of a Calvin Harris song. So I'm actually probably just going to call it like Someday, or something like that, or maybe something like Back for You Someday. But then I've done a track called Back for Me. So I don't know. We'll probably or maybe something like We'll Be Coming Back. I'll just call it like We'll Be Coming Back or something like that. So anyway, make sure to like, make sure to comment, make sure to share, and we'll see you soon.